Have you ever stared at a blank piece of paper or screen trying to write, but the words just wouldn't come? And before you knew it, you were doing some kind of chore or playing around on social media instead. A lot of people call this writer's block. I don't. I call it writer's guilt. Stay tuned to find out what I mean and how to get over it in 3 simple steps. Hi there, I'm Devlin Blake, creativity and writing coach, former ghostwriter, and author of more than 200 books. I help you live your best life by writing your best book. Welcome to Overcoming Writer's Block. Let's get started. And I have a secret to tell you. Writer's block is never about your book. Most often, it's because of what I call writer's guilt. We all start out creative, drawing pictures, making up stories for our dolls, and dancing before we can even walk. But the problem is, our society doesn't put a very high value on creative things. Sure, it loves the result, but it absolutely hates the process. Spending time on creative things is seen as non-productive, and therefore a source of guilt when we have to spend time on these things. But creative things take time, especially if you're not used to it. It took J.K. Rowling 6 years to write the first Harry Potter book. Isaac Newton took 20 years to develop the theory of gravity before the apple tied it all together. And yes, science is creative too. But because our culture is obsessed with the result and devalues the process, it's common to feel guilty when you sit down to write. You feel like this is stolen time. Time you should be spending with your family, with work, with chores, or something else society considers productive and worthwhile. This is why you end up wasting your precious writing time instead of actually writing. But I'm here to tell you something. Your book is worthwhile. There are readers out there who are going to love it, whose lives it'll change, who will draw strength and inspiration from it. But none of that can happen if you don't write it. So the question is, how do you get over the guilt? Simple. You make writing an everyday part of your life. Now by that I don't necessarily mean you write every day, although that's good too. But you have to make the process part of your life. And I'm going to share with you 3 tips that'll help you get over the guilt and enjoy writing. Read more. Particularly, you need to read more in your genre, but other genres are great too. You learn world building from fantasy and historical fiction, character development from literary novels, suspense from horror, and self-improvement from the self-help world. Whatever you read, you need to make sure you're reading a little every day. Books are made up of other books, and trying to write without regular reading is like trying to bake a cake with an empty pantry. It can't be done. Time block time to write. Time blocking is when you schedule an amount of time instead of an actual clock time. For example, 30 minutes instead of 8:30. The idea behind this is that you can add 30 minutes to every day. That way you can write every single day. The secret to time blocking is to set a timer and do absolutely nothing else until that timer dings. Don't answer the phone. Don't look at social media. Don't even get up to go to the bathroom, which is why I recommend 30 to 45 minutes. You don't want to take this to an extreme. Time blocking is great because when life gets in the way, you just shuffle around the minutes and you don't upset your entire schedule, which, let's face it, is usually built on a house of cards. Take one card away out of your schedule and the whole thing collapses. When writing is scheduled as opposed to feeling squeezed in, it stops feeling like stolen time and starts feeling like your playtime, which it is. This is the time for your mind to play and tell stories, just like it did when you were a child and made up stories for your toys. Don't worry, we all did it. The final tip is to separate research and writing time. Too many writers get so involved in the research they never write their book. They spend all their time that they should be writing, researching instead. This is counterproductive. It's impossible to go from research mode to writing mode because it's on different sides of our brains. If you've just spent a lot of time researching, you can't write. This is why you need to block out time for your research as well as for your writing. Ideally, they should be at different parts of the day. Also, research should never be done every day and needs to stop once you get full on into your book. So to recap, you need to make time in your life for reading, writing, and researching. This tells your brain that it's okay to be non-productive, at least according to our society standards. Once it's used to that, it can tap into its creative side and will eagerly fill up that blank page with more words than you've ever dreamed possible. Your brain wants to tell stories. It's our natural state. Soon you'll approach the blank page with the same eagerness that you used to have when you approached your toys as a child. Eager to play and eager to start. So get out there and get writing, or reading, today. Well, that's about it for now. See you next time on Overcoming Writer's Block, your go-to show for how to write a book advice. We have writing tips for those who write novels, expert books, novelty books, children's books, and more. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, you can grab my report on jumpstarting your book here or at the link in the description. Bye!